Okay, time for a new bird feeder. This one, if I remember correctly, I think we brought it from our old house. So it's got to be at least 15 years old, somewhere in there. Made out of redwood, I believe, or cedar. I can't really tell anymore. Well, anyway, I'm going to take some dimensions off this. I'm just basically going to recreate this thing. This metal roof or aluminum roof was put on there because I was having trouble with squirrels jumping off of the tree, from the tree to the top. And on the wooden roof they could land and not have any problem, but with this metal roof they would slide off. I don't know if I'm going to keep that anymore. I've since moved it to a different location away from the tree so they can't make that jump anymore. So this part will probably go away. So let me take that off and then we'll start pulling some dimensions here. Alright, so the roof or the lids are going to be made out of 6.5 by 14 with a bevel cut here. I think I can still reuse these hinges. The inside, or the sides I should say, not the inside, but the sides are going to be probably going to have a piece that's 7 inches wide by, well, if I remember right, about, it is, I was going to say 12, but it's 10. And then I'll figure out these angles. And then the base, I've got 2 pieces for the base because I drill a hole in this piece to mount to a pole. I think you can see that hole there. It's about a 2-inch hole. And then, because when water gets in here, and then I've got to, I think I've got to drill some holes or bevel that a little bit so that the water runs out, and put some drain holes on the side here. So those are some of the improvements I'm going to make as well. So back to the dimensions. So that inside piece is going to be 6 by 10.5. These outside pieces are 10.5 by 1.5. Everything is 3/4 stock. So you need 2 each of those, 2 each of these, 1 base, 2 sides, a couple lids, and then the perches here. And I might make these a little bit longer. I might make these 12 and bring these perches out a little bit. I think that'll be a better way to go too. So I'm going to make it out of white oak this time, and I'm going to finish it. I've got some outdoor finish that I got a free sample of. I'm going to try it on this project. Oh, and then you need your plexiglass. And these pieces I think I can reuse. I just clean them up a little bit. But they measure 9.5 by 7. Alright, the 2 critical pieces on this thing are the sides. And I've taken the time to lay it out on a piece of scrap plywood here. Nothing too extravagant, but it's easy to lay out, and actually you only need to really lay out one side, but I laid out both. So there's 3 lines. You got your base line, your break line for the roof, and then your center line, and then your overall length. So I drew you don't have to draw the base line, that's already there. Here's my break line, which is at 7.5, I believe it was. 7.25, sorry. And then my overall length of 9 inches. Yeah. So off the center mark, off of the center line, 1.5 both ways, giving you a 3-inch base. And then up to the break line, just connect the dots. And then from the center line at the 9-inch mark, come off of that mark to the to get your roof line. So your design looks something like that. which is exactly the same as what I've got on there, right? You know, I should say exactly the same, but it's very close to what I have. So I don't know what these angles are. I guess they're really not that important, but you need to just make your cut, and then flip your piece and make the second cut, because it's just a mirror image. So I'm going to get my little jig set up here to make these long cuts. Okay, the problem with using this, you know, getting confused earlier, was the piece was just too long. Now that I've got it cut to rough length, it's just a little bit longer than it needs to be. I'm able to make a test cut here on my plywood panel. So I've got it set up, and see how this goes here. If I cut that off, yeah, I should be okay. One thing I didn't allow for is my miter gauge. It's too long. The miter bar, I should say. So I've got to flip this. Let's see, how can I do that? Yeah. Right there. I'm on my same stop point, which is good. Alright, we'll try it again. A little bit off there. So consequently, this piece is going to be sloppy. Get another piece, cut to width, because I don't want that. This is the right width. You rough cut this one to length. My angle needed to be a little bit more this way. Yeah, I think that'd be better. Just a hair more. I'm gonna rough cut another blank and be right back. just a hair over 3 inches. I'll take that. And the brake line looks like it's about 7 1/4. Yeah, that's perfect. All right, so make my center mark here. Connect these dots. No, this is actually, that's too tall, never mind. We want 9. Go to the bottom of that mark. Alright, so that's my next cut. That way. And this one I can make with my miter gauge because I've got a lot of material here. Let's just see what happens with this one. I've got to take a little bit more off the heel here. I'm just going to come back just a hair. I got my miter gauge set now at about 17 degrees. Yeah, move my stop up about 1/8. Let's see how that does.